Konene. So kuna hii story fulani ile ili happen on Saturday ama ni post. Kuna post fulani ilitoka from Wamuchomba. And Wamuchomba of course amekuwa like one of the biggest critics wa Ruto, and one thing that I have to give her credit for is she was able to, in quotes, smell Ruto's bullshit before everyone else. She alitoka kwa hiyo fold haraka haraka. But then kuna vile on Saturday alienda up amepost a certain video, and this video caused a certain level of controversy because on the video alikuwa ameandika ni flagging off desks for my 10 schools in Githunguri, alafu primary, then hashtag woman for the job, hashtag madhe siku zote. So wacha tucheki kikam tu hizi stories such development. Okay, but wacha tumsikize.
Those 10 schools are going to receive 10 desks. 100. There are 10 schools, each getting 100 desks and lockers. And this is in addition to what we did last year. Last year tulipatiana desk kwa Kanyore Primary School. Kanyore hoi. Mulipata desk last year. Kwa hivyo sasa mko na ingine 100 on top. We have already done that in Kagema Primary School. Wale ambao wananifuata mnakumbuka kuna wakati nilienda Kagema nikapata watoto wa desk wakikalia mitongi ya maji. Nika authorize tutafute desk na tukapeleka. How many did you do? We did 100. Which other school did we give that time? 2 schools received last year.
So okay, so we are talking about kids sitting on stones and sitting on stuff that they are not supposed to sit in, and we're talking about this in 2025. So I understand for political mileage why she do this video, because there was a lot of backlash for this, and I think the average Kenyan voter is so used to mediocrity that if you don't show them that you've done such stuff, they never see that you've done whatever you've done. So wacha tuendelee.
So now we have done a total of 12 schools, 10 plus 2. So we have done 100 times 12. We have done 1,200 desks and lockers in Githunguri. Katasio! And now, walimu ambao wako hapa na PMC, nikifanya hii bendera hivyo iende hivyo, mko na ruhusa wa kuenda na desk zenyu kwa mashule yenyu mukasome in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
So yeah, so she was flagging off easy VT. And after she flagged them off, one of the things that I saw was umse anaitwa wakili. So she was flagging off these desks, and one of the things that I saw after aweye kuflag off hizi desks ni kuna wakili Otieno alienda pa react to it akasema, imagine the level of unseriousness it takes to hold a flag off ceremony for desks in 2025. Not a new school, not a new policy, desks. Why not propose a law to guarantee dignified learning environments for all Kenyan children instead of parading furniture like it's a moon landing? This is optics over outcomes, poverty management dressed up as philanthropy, and a loud confession that the system has failed so badly that even desks now require ribbon cutting. Damn! And I think this is, as I've said hapo mbeleni, na understand why she did it. And she did it because the Kenyan Nini is so used to mediocrity that there is no way kumtoa from the mediocrity, because this has reminded me that just earlier this week I'd seen another senator who also did a similar thing, and what the senator did was he ended up writing everything that he's done during the month of July. Yes, so ilikuwa ni senator mgani? Ilikuwa Senator Professor Tom Ojienda, SC senior counsel. So who senior counsel alikuwa ameandika something to the effect of July has been a month of compassion, commitment and community, on to the next, Professor Tom Ojienda. Then ukigo through document yake unaona first alidonate 1 million to Machakos School all boys alumni. I think maybe that's where he was. 500k to Shield Okumbawa Sacco launch Muoron. 5k to support the Omunga family. So alikuwa ameweka hizi vitu zote where he's put like 30 things that he's done. And I remember looking at this and I don't know how to react to, because I feel like as a lawmaker we are supposed to think of how not to anajua ile glorify handouts, because that's what these people do. They glorify handouts and they glorify. And for another thing, like if these desks were not coming from the taxpayers, because like what's happening is these desks are coming from, this is taxpayers money that's been used to nini this desk. They've not come from like some outer space ama kitu kama hiyo. So kama zingekuwa zinatoka from taxpayers, then you can thump your chest and be like, you've done this thing that's exceptional. Where, for example, saizi State House is getting repaired. Yes, I think I'd forgotten this story. State House is getting repaired. It's getting repaired through taxpayers' money. White House is getting repaired. So State House, a third world country, is going to cost around 2 billion shillings. White House inakuwa repaired, it's going to cost around how much? I think ni 20 billion shillings, like 10 times more. The difference is White House is being donated, is being repaired through contributions from Americans, like rich Americans who contribute, because they know that the American taxpayer cannot afford to repair White House. That's the difference. Najua. Sisi ni, let's use taxpayers' money. America, like, no, we can't use taxpayers' money. Let's use, let the rich people fund this bill. And still talking of Americans, of course, kuna hii image iko ina go round. Now the image was the image of buda mwingine anaitwa Mr. Beast. So Mr. Beast alikuwa ameandika $1 equals to 1 year of clean water for someone in need. During August, me and countless other creators are going to attempt to raise $40 million to give 2 million people clean drinking water for decades each. Then akabaki ameandika donate please kwa teamwater.org. And of course you have African kids hapo nyuma. And what's sad about this is the reason why we as black people never get respect worldwide. It's because basic needs like water, it's such a huge issue that we need a white man to come from America to come and save us. And every time that you talk about this, unaona msee get all up in their feelings and they want to support mediocrity. If we can dress mediocrity in tribe, then a lot of people are ready to support the mediocrity. And then we are left in this situation whereby people are stuck in poverty and they are desperately trying to get away from this poverty, and there's no clear way out. And what happens? This reminds me of another image nilibaki nimecheki. Ilikuwa ni Ndhiwa youth dangerously crowd around helicopters preparing for takeoff as they seek handouts from politicians. You see? And hapa kulikuwa na like ama youth, you watch the video and they are here. And this reminds me of, kama ujai watch episode tulifanya na Ndovuku, alibonga joy story vile watu kufa. Kuna kuagana hiyo nini iko pale nyuma. I think nika stabilizer and it's invisible. And people who don't know it. So this thing could have killed them. Lakini hawako wanajua, wako hapo. Why? Because the situation is so dire that people rely on handouts. And it's sad because we are stuck in this situation. And people who come out and say, you know what, these handouts are not okay. I don't care if the handouts are from Ojienda. Ojienda, of course, ni Mjaga. Unachukia Wajaluo. These handouts, I don't care. They are from Wamuchomba. Unachukia Wasaperi. Then tuko stuck kwa hii nonsense. Because now the politicians love that. When they know that say, since ametoka hii tribe, haifai kubonga juu hii story, inakuwa like we are stuck hapo. Tuko stuck hapo. And talking of the nonsense that comes from politicians, of course another nonsense tulisikia hii wiki ilikuwa ile nonsense ya ati vile Nakada wame come out and they are proposing even pushing the age of drinking from 18 to 21 na vitu kama hizo. And I remember nikibonga juu ya the way these people act, like alcoholism is a bigger problem than corruption. Na unapata wasoko kwa comments, hajasema hivyo, but the urgency with which we are dealing with alcoholism, if we put this same urgency to deal na corruption, Kenya would be very far. Wacha tusikize Murkomen.
Tulienda kuzindua policy ya Nakada yenye nasema pombe, mwenye anakunywa pombe akuwe 21 kwenda juu. Tukasema kwamba pombe isiuzwe karibu na shule. Tukasema kwamba mambo ya pombe isitangazwe saa 1 jioni, saa 2, saa 3 wakati watoto wanaona mtu ameadvertise pombe. Tukasema kwa social places, pombe recreational places yenye watu wanaenda kwa mchezo na nini, wenye watoto wanaenda training, isikuwe mahali pa kunywa pombe. Sasa tumepigwa jana. Mimi nimewekwa huko headline, huyu amepigwa, ameambiwa sijui nini, sijui Kipchumba hii serikali inataka kuharibu nchi. Unaona wale watu wanajiita watu wa kanisa. Hakuna hata mmoja alinitetea.
Chiki hapa ana bring up stories za kanisa. Ile time uko na dedisha wase, uko nafikiria juu watu wa kanisa ni. Ukianlish makarao, ukiambia makarao wanaweza tudedisha, wakiangusha watu 10 ni sawa. Wasipoangusha 10 to 15 ni sawa. Unajua hiyo, that's you. Umewacommand, umewambia hivyo, then unatokea as a CS for internal security, unaanza kutuambia vile you understand the law, na hata ICC hawakutishi. Ile time unasema ICC hawakutishi, wanaweza kutisha jua nini? Cause hauogopi how many Kenyans wata dedi, but wacha tulenge police brutality, wacha tulenge the state being brutal with its citizens. You know what we should concentrate on is alcoholism. It's the biggest problem that we have. We're trying to save kids. Okay, wacha tuendelee.
Hakuna hata mwenye alisupport hiyo Moriko kusema hiyo sheria ni sawa. Na ni watu ya kanisa. Hii watu ya kanisa. Niliona mzee mmoja ya kanisa jana, kitu ya kwanza anasema Kipchumba astakiwe. Na hakusema hata kitu moja kuhusu mambo ya pombe.
Yes, cause pombe ajuko na shindwa na bonga jana, na bonga jua Kigame Ruben Kigame nule buda aliran for president, apia na kuaga blind. Alikuwa amesema atapeleka umse ICC. That's why mse akasema hatishiki na ICC. And of course saizi, if you had to ask me, tuanze kucalculate like nini ile Wakenya wengi wakikaa chini na wawori. Very few Kenyans worry about alcoholism. Yes, it's a big issue, and I say this as someone who's come from a family that has had a lot of people struggle from alcoholism, but I know a lot of them struggle from that because of joblessness and because of loss of hope. If Kenya was doing better, where people had more jobs, people had more opportunities, alcoholism would not be such a big problem. That's why even for Murkomen, alcoholism is an issue. Why? Because he has days when he can be productive. He does not need to worry about food like a wild animal in the wilderness. That's how the average Kenyan lives. Like, I don't know, but I can comfortably pull a figure from my head and say over 50% of Kenyans wake up in the morning and they are not sure if they are going to have enough for food in the evening. That's a reality. So for you to come up and bring up alcoholism as the main issue is for you to be super dishonest.
Nyinyi mnataka pombe itembee kila mahali. Kwani tukisema pombe ikuwe 21 years, ati wale wanauza pombe wanakuja kusema ati profit itaenda chini. Yaani nilikuwa naona kampuni kubwa kwa Kenya inasema watoto wa pombe ikipelekwa 21 years uchumi itaanguka kwa sababu wakunywa pombe watakuwa wachache. Kuna mtu kichwa chake ni mzuri sana, anaweza sema ati ni vizuri pombe watoto wa 18 years mpaka 20 years wakunywe pombe. Nani hako hapa anasema mtoto yake akifika 18 akunywe pombe? Tukipeleka 21 iko makosa. And these companies are not ashamed to say that they want to make profit from children of 18, 19, 20. Tumeambia tu ngoje ifike 21 ndio akunywe hiyo pombe mzuri.
So anchiki history pia kuita adults children, and yes, I understand, of course an 18-year-old kid still has certain level of kidness, but hii akimuita mtoto hamuiti with the same nini, anamuita with the same kid. Au itaga watu wako 29 wakiwaambia that since mko na shida na gava, we need to sit down with your parents and have a discussion. There's no discussion to be had. So when you listen to this, you'd think that shida yetu si joblessness. If we worried about joblessness the way we worry about alcoholism, because I won't lie to you, joblessness can be able to solve alcoholism, like a huge chunk of it. Like if people have jobs, people have stuff to do, people don't have to idle the same day, the whole day, where mtu anaitwa na besti yake anamwoniaje situende hivi tukunywe hivi, like since hauna kitu ya kudu situende hivi. That would be very helpful, but of course people are jobless, and inakuwa ni an idle mind is the devil's workshop, so the devil ends up doing his thing.
anasema ati sisi ni wabaya. Lakini Kenya jamani, yani tumeanza kuzama. If we can publicly say that we are making profit using 18, 19, 20-year-old kids.
Hakuna mtu yote alisema hivyo. Just in case maybe sijasema hivyo. And kuna wasikawa mimi walikuwa tunauliza juu the practicability of that. Raising the age from 18 to 21. What happens to watu wako 19 na 20 wale washaanza kukunywa? What's going to happen to them? Are they supposed to stop mpaka wafike 21? So the practicability, and I say this as someone who does not drink. But I always feel like with life, it's better when you've made the choice for yourself than when the state makes the choice for you. I think kuna mse fulani alipost hiyo kitu. I think ilikuwa David D posted something very interesting about choice. And I'll be checking that out. But before D nilikuwa nataka kuangalia hii. So, I say, aufanyaga inakaa like hivyo. Like they're very moral. And the problem I have with that is when I look at the level of corruption in this country and I look at the level of giving non-issues priority, I get worried because we will repair State House and there are schools that are, schools are too many. We'll repair State House while there are not enough beds at Kenyatta National Hospital. And we can sit down and calculate and be like, you know what, on average, Kenyatta National Hospital does this. So it means that if we have this level of beds, it would be enough for everyone ule nakuja. Then we calculate to go like, okay, na tusipo have hivi, let's put a margin of error of this. And then tutoke hapo tuende kwa Mbagathi, let's put a margin of error of this. Tutoke hapo tuende, and then patients would stop sharing beds. Because try and imagine 2 sick people sharing a bed and exchanging viruses and bacteria and messing up their immune system because they already have weak immune systems. But no, we'd rather ignore that and repair the windows at State House and repair the windows at Harambee House and then show up and gaslight people and tell people that the biggest problem that Kenyans is facing is youth drinking.
If we can say it's okay to sell alcohol next to school, if we can say that it's okay to advertise alcohol during prime time,
hakuna mtu yote amesema that alcohol inafaa kuuzwa karibu na shule. I think the rules zilikuwa. Those rules are 300 meters, blah, blah, blah. They were never implemented. Why were they never implemented? They were never implemented because you created a system where corruption is everything. That as long as you are wealthy, no one cares where the money came from. And because of that, yes, we have this level of nonsense where rules are not followed. Kanjo, wenyewe, buildings don't even follow the building rules, the rules that are supposed to be used when it comes to buildings. So, but as I say, this is a certain level of gaslighting. Unajua watu wale wana criticize hii story. Wana criticize juu anataka watoia kunywa pombe. Hakuna mtu anataka mtoia kunywa pombe. Hakuna hata mtu anataka adults wa kunywa pombe. But hii shida yetu ya pombe hapa Kenya inakuwaga it's deep rooted in hopelessness. It's not rooted in people having pleasure. There are people who have pleasure. Unajua wale wasa wanakunywa the finest things, hii nini. Wasa wanakunywa vitu za ajabu, msana nuka mavi mdomo. Nafikiria anakunywa hiyo juu he's having fun. No, they are trying to forget that they live under this regime that's super clueless.
When all children are watching, if we can say it's okay to sell alcohol where children are going to train, to play sports, then there is a problem in this country.
So check it. So, inaitangwa gaslighting. So, Murkomen alienda papa kitry ku gaslight wase. But what I found to be interesting was Ndi alienda pa joke about this. But he joked about it in a way that I found to be interesting. Alikuwa ameandika hivi, the tyranny of good intentions. I think the Hallelujah Brigade should sit this one out. Na ifikie Professor Makau Mtua. Na pia mambo ya bodaboda. So kaujui Professor Makau Mtua alikuwa amebonga juu ya kuban bodaboda sijui from doing what ama doing what. So I remember that. But sasa tukikam to either of all tyrannies. So alikuwa amekuwa tu mse. So mse amesema of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes slip. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. Satisfied, that is. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. And that's what's happening right now. Kuna wasa wanashindagwa mwaf, utasupport aje wasee kukunywa pombe na we mwenyewe ukunywi pombe. The reason why I don't drink is a personal choice. I do not think my personal choices should influence your personal choices. That's the reason why every single day you wake up and you talk to an invisible being who you are told died for you 2,000 years ago and who your ancestors discovered 1900 years ago. Will I joke about it? Yes, I'll joke about it. Will I stop you from doing that? No, I'll never stop you from doing that. We have to let people make their own decisions. And I think that's the same thing who David Ndi alisema. So Ndi alisema kitu kama, akuna mselu kumza, why aren't you defending the church project recently? Alafu, anyways, we need to get into marijuana before it's too late. Then Ndi akabaki reply, I defend freedom and civil liberties. The freedom to pray and the freedom to drink, each to the poison of their choice. I'm also for legalize marijuana. Macheki, the freedom to pray, akasema each for the poison. Because prayer has been a poison in Africa. Africans have been told that they'd rather pray than work. And they've believed that. And for a very long time, politicians have taken advantage of that. But you know what? It's okay. If you believe talking to yourself and lying to yourself that there's someone up there, sawa, we will defend you and your liberty to do that. The same way we'll defend you and your liberty to engage and imbibe or even smoke. But what we will not defend is corruption. You'll never find me up and kisema like, let's Nini, because corruption affects me directly. When you're seated praying somewhere, it does not affect me. Seated drinking somewhere, I affect. And I affect like 90 every other being who's not with you there. But corruption affects all of us, and those are the things we're supposed to battle. But you know what? As long as we can lie to ourselves that we are better than them, then ekonene.